And action. All right, we're live from the captain's room. It's the Monday Fun Day, Money Mondays edition. Brought to you, as always, by Captain Demo's Big Truffle. Hot in all the wrong places since 1976, sort of. And also brought to you by Captain Demo's Fine Liquors, our vodka, botanical gin, bourbon, and today we're featuring our Reposado 100% agave spirit from Jalisco, Mexico. Can't call it tequila because we bottle it here. We'll talk more about that later. And most importantly, brought to you by New Path Construction and my good friend, Adam Garcia. Adam, let's give you a big round of applause.
Thank you.
Hey, man, welcome. I'll say welcome back to the captain's room. I think of all my buddies, you've been here. You were here right before it opened. You were here right after we opened. You and Big Brad stopped by for a little tour. And then maybe one other time after a lunch that we had on for business and whatever. But I've never been able to like line up the schedules for you to, one, either come out here for a podcast, but two, get you here for a live event. And I know we do so few of the public ones, like the wine events and stuff. And I thought I had you for that one.
I know. You texted me, I think it was last week, and you said, hey, you got 2 extra seats. Come check this thing out.
Yeah.
And I was actually so pissed that I missed that one because then I come here and you're showing me all the remnants of what seemed to be an awesome party.
One day we'll figure it out, or we'll have a party for your, like when your daughter becomes an Olympian in dance or something.
That sounds great.
But anyway, I'm glad you're here. Thanks. I know that you have a crazy schedule. You've been traveling like nuts. Business is blowing up. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a lot of things. Family, we talk about money. I want to talk about real estate and construction and some of the things that you guys do with your business that is special to me because I think a lot of times people look at the construction business as something less than it is. And I think what you guys have done in the construction world and how you've done it and applying really industrial, like PE type mentality, being very cerebral about the construction and also development business and how you guys select your clients and how you guys go to market. It is very different, and it's something that I'm very impressed with. I'm very proud of and happy for you. And you guys are celebrating. You just celebrated your 10th year, right?
Yeah, we will be. So this year, we're trying to celebrate the entire year.
Okay, got it.
But the official date is out in May. We're really jacked up about it. We have a big 10-year party up and coming. So, yeah, this is a big year.
And, dude, I'm an old man. I'm 49 years old. I know I won't ask you how old you are, but, you've been doing this in this capacity 24/7, 10 solid years. And, like, your legacy, it's already here. The next 10 is going to be absolutely insane. And then you got at least another 10 after that if you want it. You know what I mean?
I hope I have 100. I hope I have 100.
I'm not saying that. I wasn't cutting you short.
Honestly, it's weird. I mean, and obviously we'll get into it, but coming from the PE space, everything is in 5-year increments. When I look at everything in 5-year increments, to think back and say, oh, we just did 10 years. It's longer than I've been a part of any business ever. And it's so much so that I had to change my own mind. We just did a directors meeting this year for the first time, which was cool. Everybody flew in from all over the country, our different directors. And we set it up right before the Christmas party. And the plan was a 10-year plan to say, okay, we just did 10 years. The plan is called Building Legacies. It's all over all of our swag. It's in our office now. And so
Building Legacies with New Path Construction.
Yeah.
Over to you, Adam.
You could be the guy that does that for us.
I could.
But yeah, that's kind of been our thing now. So we're trying to hit 10 years and do it in a different way, a little bit more intentional this time, I would say.
So let's rewind a little bit. So I think we've known each other, 4 or 5 years now?
5 years, yeah.
About 5 years.
Yep.
And I connected with you through mutual friends in the construction business, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think you guys were looking at a site that we were a part of in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it's right. And we were trying to figure out architectural, and we were trying to figure out some other stuff. It was out west, and I think it was one of your employees or somebody that worked for one of the other brokers that you were affiliated with. Yep. That's what it was.
Yep.
He got us connected, and he's like, this John guy's technical. He's like, and Adam, you're technical, and you guys were doing rapid prototypes for stuff.
Yep.
And he's like, you guys got to meet. And then we met, And I was like, this is really cool.
It was a Zoom. I remember that.
Yeah.
Because you actually looked the exact way you look right now, but you were in like a desk at a computer. I think it was during COVID, right?
It was at the very beginning of COVID.
Yep.
And the guy was like, I got to get you together because I don't know he was like, I don't know how to use a computer, but you guys seem like you know how to use a computer.
And by the way, the only guy I've ever met that logs in, and I feel like I'm on like a gaming channel. You're wearing the same outfit.
Yeah.
You have the headphones. You had the sunglasses. You had a big boom mic.
You got to stand out a little bit.
Oh shit! This is a real Zoomer.
This guy's playing Minecraft.
Right.
I don't play any video games. I was just trying to be like a
cool,
like cut rate Howard Stern, but he sucks now. So. Yeah, and you guys were doing what were you guys calling it? The multiverse or the
metaverse?
Metaverse.
Yep, we were doing some stuff in the metaverse.
And then you had Justin with you.
Correct.
And then we did like a demo.
Yep.
I sent you guys. Shit, man, I don't remember what the client was. Probably shouldn't mention it.
Yep.
But I remember sending you the site. I remember sending you some logos, and then like the next day.
Yep, you had a digital building.
Yeah, and you're like, and if you want me to do a flyover, I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. Because for me, being the most technical person in my firm at the time.
Yep.
I'm doing all these stunts myself, and I'm proud of that. But I'm like, dude, there's got to be a better way than me spending 4 hours in like Photoshop and like PowerPoint to put together like a mock-up that looks
that the city may shoot down in 1/10 of a meeting.
Or the customer that we're pitching who has unlimited budget that we didn't to impress them quickly, because most times it'd be like weeks later, they come back with renderings, and people are like, I forgot who was on that call.
Yep.
And now I was able to do things like literally the next day. People are like, how the fuck did you guys do that?
Yep.
And that's what you want, because in this industry, in real estate and in construction, things move at things appear to move fast, but they move at a snail's pace.
Yep.
Architectural plans take too long. Tons of change orders. Everything's expensive. Everything's like this, that, and the other thing.
All of that is still a big deal.
It is, but like one of the things I want to talk to you, and we'll get into this, is like you guys looked at this like a very Six Sigma, where it's like you're not gonna fix everything all at once, but every change is every improvement is incremental, and that's something you and I have talked about a lot. Like so if you can eliminate 5% or 10% here with construction materials, and 20% of the time or money, whether you're getting billed hourly or just man hours or whatever.
Yep.
Like the whole thing goes smoother, and you could blow the whole efficiency with one bad change order, right?
Totally.
You know, or like no one knows that better than you or guys in construction. Hey man, as soon as you say we're crushing it on a job, and
it's
then,
over.
Yeah.
And I'll never say that till it's over.
And then someone strikes oil at a job site, and you're like, oh fuck, what do we do now? Well, we'll get into all that stuff. So I just wanted to, you guys when I met you, it was just here in Chicago.
Yeah, I believe so.
For the most part.
Yeah.
I think you guys maybe dabbled a little bit.
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, you got an office in Phoenix now.
Have an office in Phoenix, which we probably have had that for about 6 years, 7 years maybe, that Phoenix office. We're in Scottsdale. We have an office in Texas. That one's new. And then obviously we just moved our Chicago office to St. Charles, Illinois. So I live there. My family's there.
Yeah.
I feel like we wanted to create something that's a little bit more of, if you're investing all this money, you want to talk about these things. Instead of being in the city, going building to building, doing all your days and meetings, come out by us. We have a beautiful setup. We can walk you to any restaurant down the street, put you in an environment where you could really understand and think about your deal was our intent. And also I live there. So that
right. Because you guys were in, was it Mount Prospect?
We were in Bloomingdale. We've been in Itasca. Then latest was Hanover Park.
That's right.
Yep.
I bet.
Latest was Hanover Park.
And that was a beautiful, that's where I visited you there several times for deals and things. And that was a beautiful office. You guys outgrew that really quickly.
The Texas office is cool just because it just so happens the guy that runs our multifamily division lives in Texas, works out of that office. And so it's nice because there's action happening there. But I will say, with those three offices, I think right now we're probably building in maybe 8 or 9 different states.
Currently,
with current projects.
That's a lot.
We've probably built in maybe 15 or 20 different states over the course of the last 10 years. But Chicago kind of covers everything from here to North Carolina. Essentially, we have a project right now in North Carolina, which is cool. And then Arizona kind of covers that Southwest market. And then Texas is its own beast. There's so much going on in Texas.
People don't realize, and like there's always a joke, everything's bigger in Texas. You know,
is.
and you have
It
like,
is.
and people also don't know like what a Mercator projection map is and how things get distorted on a map. Like Texas is just massive.
I was so the company that we bought in Texas a couple years ago, we end up at this guy's house, great guy, funny guy. And he goes, I knew we were going to do a deal when he said we were done with the meetings for the day. And he goes, you guys want to come over to my house and have some dinner with me, my wife? We'll kind of hang out. We get down to his place. And I was like, all right, question for you. So if we were to leave right now, how long would it take for us to get to the border? We're in Dallas. And so this is with all the immigration stuff that was going on. I'm like, are you seeing any of that here? He starts laughing. This is a guy from Texas laughing, saying, you city boys don't know shit. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, it's like a 7-hour drive if we were to leave right now. And granted, I think his time is distorted. He told me Houston was a 10-hour drive, and it took us 3 hours to get from Houston to Dallas. But regardless.
Well, it took him 3 hours. It took anybody else 5. Have you seen how people drive? And you know how people drive in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Everyone's got a gun, and everybody smiles and waves.
I made him stop and get me a helmet. I was nervous on the way back.
Was it a gold construction helmet? I thought you carried one.
It was a bicycle helmet.
Got one in the
Brad.
trunk.
Brad really wants us all wearing bike helmets all the time.
Let's say hi to Brad. Hey, Brad. Where's Brad?
Brad is probably on a bike somewhere.
That's good. In Naperville.
Likely in Naperville.
Likely
Yeah.
in Naperville. That's always been the joke with you guys.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. I just jumped right on it.
There's got to be someone that can make him the mayor of Naperville.
We're gonna work on that. If there's anyone that can make Brad the mayor of Naperville, call in to the captain's room. We'll have a meeting here. The 9 other people that are going to watch this, Brad's probably not one of them, even if I send it to him.
Right.
We'll get him nominated and get him elected. All right. I want to rewind a little bit because I got into a real estate development kind of non-traditionally, and I feel like you could tell the story of being in this business traditionally, and then you could also tell this business story about how you got in this business very non-traditionally. You and I became fast friends. We did some stuff together. I'm grateful for that because you shared a lot of fun stories with me. And then I got to meet some of your family, your lovely wife, who was absolutely hilarious. We got to do some Cubs games again this year because I don't know how good they're going to be. But
she told me she's never going to another Cubs game, not because of you, but because
What?
she said she hated it. She hated the whole experience. But she says that every year, so we'll get her out.
All right, well, we got to clarify that because I had the best time ever with your wife. She was making me cry. I was laughing so hard.
I'm going to make her watch this, and I'm going to say, you see these words you say?
They
hurt
just
people.
kind of, yeah, she hurt me deeply
Right.
with that. I'm just glad you didn't blame it on me. Let's blame it on Brad. He's not here.
Yeah, Brad.
Fucking Brad.
Hit that bell again for
Ruined,
Brad.
yeah, Brad. Fucking Brad, you ruined Cubs games for me and Adam and his wife.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yep.
All right. Well, anyway, I've met your wife. I've met your children. They're adorable. A little later, I want you to talk about your daughter, and she's my number one fan as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
I got to meet her under not the greatest circumstances. I think I met her when I came to your dad's wake. And I know how important your dad was to you. You know, a solemn day, and I came in, and you guys were going through it, and you had all tons of people. I mean, that parking lot, man, was something else. What a testament,
It was crazy.
right?
Yeah, it was crazy.
But people were coming in. You came over, you gave me a hug, and I'm like, "How you doing, man?" You're like, "I'm doing okay, man." Like, look at all these people that came in, and you know, it was a nice testament, right?
Yep.
And then out of nowhere, this like cute little girl comes like running up to you, and she's like holding onto your leg like a little kid, and she looks up and she's like looking at me, and then looking at you and looking at me, and she goes, "Is that him?"
Yep. And I just lean down. I go, "It is him."
And I'm like, "Dude, are you kidding me?"
Yep. So your hot sauce, that is the truffle sauce. I bring this thing home, and you're giving away. I mean, we'd be at real estate meetings, and you're coming into real estate meetings with samples. I remember we were at Medina meeting one time. You just grabbed a sack of these things. You start throwing them on tables, and that was a good story too. But you started throwing these. Every restaurant I start going to, I'm seeing these things.
Yeah,
so
man.
I bring it home, and I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty good. And then I leave it in the fridge. Well, my daughter comes in. Colombians, I guess, like their spice. So she comes in. She grabs a little bit of this hot sauce, tastes it. She's like, oh, my God, this is amazing. So she finishes the first vial. And I remember telling you, I'm like, dude, my daughter loves your hot sauce.
Yeah. I didn't believe you, by the way. I thought you were blowing smoke.
Yeah. I'm like, I got to get more. But then we go out and we go to some of these restaurants in the area. They have your stuff, and so she sees it, and then she doesn't believe me that I know you. And yeah, on that day, it was kind of a cool thing because she comes up, she goes, "The hot sauce guy."
You know that guy on the bottle, the guy that's staring at us when you open the fridge.
Man?
How do you know that guy?
Yeah, she looks and she's like, "Oh my god!" So now she tells her friends, "I know famous people," which is cool.
Infamous.
Yeah, but she loves the hot sauce, man. She loves the hot sauce.
Well, one day when she's famous for her dance competition stuff.
Cheer.
Pardon me.
Yep.
Pardon me.
Be careful there.
When she's rich and famous, she'll remember us little people on the way up.
Yeah, hopefully.
So that was a treat. So I thought that might be a segue to just talk a little bit about like your family leading up to you deciding to go to college, and then the path you took down Wall Street, and then back again. So
yeah.
Would you mind telling that story? Because I think it's really compelling, and I think it really sets the stage for why your approach to construction is such a differentiator when looking at you, not only on paper, but meeting with you guys and then seeing how you guys go to market and just seeing how you guys deliver. It's to me. And again, really no bullshit. I've worked with some of the biggest and some of the most established and whatever, and they're wonderful people. They do hard. Everybody wants to work hard, but like working hard is actually easy.
Yep.
Working smart and efficiently and on budget and getting better every time is not easy. And that's what you guys are built on.
Totally. Yeah, and relationships too. I mean, it's kind of funny. I just read something the other day that said whoever talks to the customer the most wins. And I thought about that, and I'm like, it's crazy because you and I start working together. You guys effectively become a customer of New Path.
Yeah.
And there's like this really fine balance, I feel like, of friend versus does it feel fake? Am I just talking to you because we want to do a deal or something like that? But I think the Wall Street thing helped in the sense that I didn't necessarily need anything. Nothing had to happen for me to hit like a car payment or something like that. So I would meet with people and I could actually talk to people and say, oh, I actually kind of like this guy. We'll go get some drinks or we'll go do whatever. And I think people...
It'll find you if you...
Yeah, if the deal makes sense, it'll find us, I think. But yeah, to go through the story a little bit. So growing up, my dad was always in the trades. My family's from Colombia, South America. Dad comes over when he's young, tries to figure out what he's going to do, ends up joining the military. So he does that. I think he was there for 6 years or something like that.
What branch of the military was your dad?
Marine.
That's
he was a Marine.
badass.
But one of the crazy things is when he had passed away, everybody's all messed up, and we get this letter or something. Somebody told us, "Hey, your dad was gave us these things about my dad in the military and all this, and said he can do one of the salutes, the gun salutes. Yeah. Would you be interested in that?" And at first we were kind of like, no, he never really talked about it. There wasn't a whole lot of discussion. Some cool stories, but nothing too much with us. He didn't ever speak about that part of his life. And I was like, at first we're like, no, but then I was like, it's kind of crazy because the whole point of the end of life and when you go through this whole thing is you're supposed to honor these people, whether or not they like being honored or they like when people brag about them or not. Our job is to do that. And so I kind of had this epiphany. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to do it. And it was one of the coolest, most beautiful things I've ever seen. Rain, these guns going off. It was cool. It was very, very cool.
That's awesome.
But he comes over, and then when he gets back, when he's done with the military, he gets into the trades. He was a mason for a while. I think he was a carpenter. Him and my uncle had tried starting different businesses, and they were building things, and the business part was always what was lacking there. And, they always tried. They got up every day. They're, like you said, the effort was never, and the hard work was never really the issue. It was that we live in a dynamic world that requires finance and marketing and business acumen and overhead planning and all these things. So I saw my parents go through some things. I saw them go through some hardships financially and kind of had this epiphany that I wanted to study finance. I wanted to understand. It's like, okay, well, why is it that people that work so hard just can't seem to hit that next level? So I got into business. I started reading these books. I started studying things, ended up going to DePaul downtown.
Like you had already been, you're seeing them work so hard.
Always.
And just putting it out there. And the result and whatever reward, most of it in one way or another was coming back to you guys.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there and that's a very mature thing for a young kid to see and think of it that way.
Oh, yeah.
Most kids are like,
Totally.
You're like, yo, can I get some new Jordan 1s or something?
Yep.
You're like, bro, you just had a pair 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And you're thinking about how do I go off and do my thing so I can come back and help them do their thing? And that's
and even at that moment, I don't think I was thinking like, oh, I'm going to come back and help them. I was just more thinking like, I have a certain life that I would love to live. I'd love to go try these things and do these things. I was always into, I would say, like the idea of the more lavish things and whatever. So I'm like, all right, well, what do I do? How do I make that happen? So yeah, studied finance, ended up getting a job right out of school with a massive bank.
And you were at DePaul, right?
Went to DePaul, yep, did well there. Ended up getting a job offer my senior year, the start of my senior year, because I did an internship with Bank of America, great program over there. Ended up getting into their leverage finance group. So we were working with all these private equity firms on buying companies, selling companies, divestitures. We did some LBO, leverage buyout deals, which then kind of led me to a publicly traded company, which was a client of the bank, I think at that time. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say that. It doesn't matter anymore. But yeah.
We're good.
Went to this group and kind of got into the business then. They said, hey, instead of us having the investment banks that we were hiring, we'd rather just have one of the guys in the office running our deals, doing strategy. So I was all over Europe, all over the US, just kind of traveling, buying companies, selling companies, coming up with just different strategic initiatives.
At like 24.
Yeah, I was probably 25, maybe 26. Yeah, doing that, which was cool, man. One of the coolest things was I kind of like sat next to, and I still talk to the CEO once in a while of this company who was the CFO. The CEO and the CFO, I kind of sat right outside their office, learned a lot. I got to watch them, the way they operated the business.
Oh, man.
We would fly together, so I'd be sitting with these guys on the plane and just watching. I was just kind of more supposed to be typing more than anything else. But just watching that, I was like, wow, these guys, like, this is crazy what these guys are doing. So then from there, got pulled into a PE shop. There was a guy that worked at a PE firm. PE firm places him at a portfolio company.
You were living out in New York at the time?
No, I was here.
Okay.
They're based out of Chicago, that company. And then we got this portfolio deal where they called me and they said, hey, we're going to sell this business. It's going to be a big exit. We need help with M&A. We were trying to add a bunch of EBITDA to the deal, right? Trying to add a bunch of cash flow to that business so that it could sell for more. So I came in, flew around, bought a bunch of companies for them, kind of tucked them in. And then that company ended up selling, and I was a big part of that. No, I shouldn't say big part, but for me, all I did was work on that deal. And it was kind of crazy. There was like a moment there that was really interesting. One of the ladies who was working above me at the time, who was handling the deal, ends up having like an anxiety attack or something.
Oh, God.
Goes down in the midst of this deal. And so my boss comes up to me. He's like, hey, this is your shot. I stepped in, stayed downtown. Think about that. I'm living here in Chicago in the burbs. They made me stay downtown at a hotel just because every ounce of everything had to go towards
For
that.
sure.
That
And
deal.
those were not 9 to 5 jobs.
No. 10 to 4 jobs too.
Yeah.
You just do both.
Dude, I did almost 15 years with the like high pressure startup, this and the other thing. And I was living downtown. I was living out here.
Yeah.
And like we were in that office before 7, and then maybe
Yep.
lizarding out of there at like 6, 7, 8 o'clock. Some nights just forever. And you're just like, what am I doing?
Well, the hardest part back then is I have 4 kids. My daughter is 9 or going to be 10. Dog's here.
Hey,
I have a daughter who's 9, who's going to be 10. And, I think about like the fact I started this business when she was a baby, as she was about to be born. But yeah, that private equity deal. I mean, one of the things that you see is I remember having to bring my backpack. My wife and I would be going out to a dinner, or I'd be at like a family Christmas party. I had to have my bag with me because the rule is
I'm getting anxiety from this.
Dude, your thing has to be there. You have 2 phones. And then I would get a call sometimes, and the call would be like, hey, I need you to log in. This model's busted. You gotta, and I would say like, hey, I'm at whatever. And before I could finish, I didn't ask where you were at. I said, this fucking model's broken. You got to log in. So it's like, all right. So I sit down.
Yeah.
I would literally leave dinners with friends, with family, with my wife, whatever.
A lot of cold dinners.
Yeah. And just, but by the way, I don't complain about it. I have a cousin who is graduating from Harvard. Awesome dude. He's going the Wall Street path. He kind of saw what it did for me and my family. Well, my wife's great. That's why, I mean, we've been together forever. And part of the reason for that is because she gets it. She gets it. Even running this business, my life is far different now. It's way better in many ways. But there's still moments where you got to kind of dive in, or I got to jump on a plane. The problem back then was you get a call and it'd be like a Saturday. And it'd be like, hey, on Monday, we're all going to Germany. We're going to buy this company. And there's really nothing to say. You can't really say anything. So my last deal on Wall Street was actually in New York with the serendipity in that. So I go to New York and we do this we buy this company. It was like a $30 million acquisition. It didn't really, the guy that was selling this business, it was like a family business. His dad started it, or his grandfather or something. Guy was a little bit of a guy that this guy's not winning any Medal of Honor awards, but got this business. Literally all they're doing is buying, just so it stays a little vague, buying something.
You still got the long tail NDA.
Oh, yeah. So buying something from a different country, bringing it here, selling it online. Okay. And
it's not, folks, it's not Kratom.
It's totally legal. And he brings them in here, and he has a really shitty website, puts them on the website. People go on and buy them. That company sells for $30 million.
Jesus.
And so nothing was being done here. And so I get the call of like, hey, we're going to go buy this company, pop out there. So it's around the holidays. I'm down there for Christmas. Really rough thing. We're shutting down that whole facility, firing a bunch of people, bringing that facility back here.
Yeah, the Grim Reaper's in town.
So me and my buddy, who was my boss at the time, he's a year older than me. He is awesome as well. We finished this deal, and we're getting ready to celebrate. We go out with the guys. We celebrate. And then me and my buddy are kind of stuck there for one more day. And he goes, hey, man, you want to go get a dinner? And I'm like, yeah, let's go. I think we're in like Manhattan or something like that. And so
you're like, sure, I could eat another steak.
Yeah, I could eat my 50th steak of the week over there. No problem. I'm 300 pounds. What else do I have to do?
Let's go to Carbone.
Yeah. So we pop out, we get a dinner, and I'm just sitting there, and it was irking me, man, because I'm like, man, this business was the big business was about to sell. We just acquired this guy. And in my head, you think the natural thing, which maybe is a little bit of greed, I don't know, maybe it's bad, but you think, well, if he could do it, like, why can't we do it? So it kind of slips out. We're sitting at dinner. I tell my guy, I'm like, hey, something is just bothering the fuck out of me, and I can't figure it out. You know, this guy, we're changing A, B, C, and D. As soon as we buy this company, we're going to blow the company up, and we're paying this guy a shitload of money right now. What does he have that we don't? That's what I'm trying to figure out. My buddy laughs, takes a drink of his drink, and says, he has balls, bud. And I said, oh, shit. Didn't sleep that night at all, right? Go home, go to the hotel, sleeping, or, I'm laying in bed, can't sleep. Next morning, I quit the firm. They had my agreement all lined up to go work for the new PE firm that was buying this thing.
Yeah.
It was kind of like this big issue, actually. Like, everybody was kind of mad at me about it. But I just had this epiphany, and I'm like, all right, I've done this long enough for other people. I've destroyed my body. I'm never home to see my family. I got to do something here.
Yep.
Now I have a little cash, right? Because I've been doing it I was 28 years old, I guess, or 27 when I started New Path. So I'm like, I got a little cash. I just had an exit. So I used that money, set up New Path Construction and Consulting, which is what I've been doing for the last 10 years, because I grew up around my dad doing this, just like I told you before. And so I called my dad, and I'm like, hey, he was going through his own things. Business wasn't quite working out. I said, hey, what if I set up a business and you did what you love to do, which is construction? I'll take care of all the business side of it.
Yes.
And he's like, man, that'd be cool. That'd be really fun.
Compartmentalizing.
But he told me, he's like, that's fucking stupid. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
What did your parents say when you're like, hey, I'm going to quit I'm going to quit this fucking
this thing I worked my entire life for?
Yeah,
Remember
that you guys helped me and backed me, and I did all these things and supported everything. And I was eating another steak, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it.
I'm done.
And they're like, I could just picture your dad just putting his hand over the phone and being like, what the fuck is he doing?
What's he doing? Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
What's the matter with you?
Well, so it's funny because everybody said no. I mean, everybody said no. There's two people that really bought in by the end of it. It was my wife, and then my dad actually came in. Finally, he's like, hey, man, his whole life was risk, right? Trying to start businesses, trying to do whatever. He's like, I've done it. It's provided for your family. It's not like everybody's got to hit a home run kind of deal. if you believe in it, you believe in yourself, and now you have a whole set of tools that I wish I had back then.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
And so I was like, all right.
It's a dad, though. That's a dad's, like a regular dad's going to be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What are you thinking? Your dad's looking at a better version of himself.
Yep.
So to him, he's already like, I won.
Yeah.
And my son, he's going to try and take this risk. He's going to go out on the plank here.
Yeah.
For the first time, and he's already taken all these other risks. This is the next natural progression for him.
Yep.
And if it doesn't work out, guess what? He could always go back and work for somebody else and be very successful and have a beautiful life and whatever. Dude, that's where the rubber meets the road. That's why I love this story.
Yeah, so I mean that was it, man.
So at that point then you're 27.
Yeah,
and how long's New Path been around?
So I started New Path. I had at 27. I had a little wind down that I had to do with the firm, just closing things out, there's all these agreements. Yeah. So close things out. So I think I was full time. I joined New Path as the CEO probably at 29-ish.
So you kind of set it up as you set up like a shell or a starter company that other people were.
My dad worked there. My mom actually worked there. My sister worked there.
Yeah, family.
I had a couple buddies at the time that worked there, and I really didn't even take any money from it. It was just like a really small thing,
right?
And we had this little tiny shitty office that was literally probably the size of this booth. And so one day,
you don't like this booth?
I mean, this booth's great for 2 people. Now imagine putting 8 people in this booth and tell me how you feel.
This seats 8 comfortably. I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe 10. 12, 15, I don't know. Whatever makes this
not
booth
10 of me
feel uncomfortable.
10 of you.
We have this little office, finished everything up, and I said, all right, I'm going all in. I'm going to be the CEO of this business. I go in there, and I remember walking in, and everybody was like in sweats, and people were kind of cranking. And
business sweats.
Yeah, business sweats. Whatever those are.
Excuse me, are those business sweats?
Yeah. Everybody's in sweats. People aren't really like dressed, and I'm like, guys, what the fuck is going on here? Like, I set this thing up, and at the time they were doing little build outs, like $100,000 deals, little small things. I said, we are changing everything about what's going on here. There wasn't even room for me to have an office.
There's a guy from Brooks Brothers out in the parking lot.
Each one of you.
Go get sized up. Go get sized up for your suits and pick out your cufflinks right now.
And then there's a fire pit where I'd like you to throw your clothes that you currently have on.
And then I want you, while it's burning, walk across them with Tony Robbins. He's also in the parking lot.
Yep. We're going to do some training.
We're going to do some fire walking here.
And that was it, dude. That was kind of that was really the boom of New Path, where I came in and I said, all right, something can be fixed here. We identified some issues. I knew the construction space was kind of shitty. After on the Wall Street side, didn't care about it from a real estate perspective per se, like the way I care about it now. But we'd buy manufacturing companies with these facilities, and people would try and build things for us. We'd sit and meet contractors, and I'm like, why do we trust this guy with $20 million? This doesn't feel right. And we'd all talk about it, but then we're like, whatever, it's an ad back. Nobody really cares on the Wall Street side of things. So then I was like, well, what if we were a construction company that actually understood business, understood the cap stack on these deals, understood what equity cost and what debt cost, and maybe the working capital cost of the business is worth way more than what it would be if we worked a couple extra weekends to hit a certain occupancy date, right? Like, there's all these things, and we said that maybe that's our move. So when I was getting ready to really blow New Path out of the ground and what we're going towards today, I said, people kept coming up to me, and we talked to all these companies. I was going to buy another company. That was kind of the plan. Met them all, wasn't interested, right? And so then everybody kept telling me, hey, you can't start a construction company, man. This is in Chicago. This place is controlled. Yeah. There's nothing you can do here. All the people are loyal. And
all the contracts are union. They're all locked up.
All the reasons people give
all the Chicago way and all the BS.
Yep. And so I said, okay, well, you test somebody's loyalty, you offer them a little bit more money than what they make today. So I went out, offered a couple people more money than they were making. Guess how many of them decided to come over?
300% of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Yeah.
We built a business, started training people on finance. New Path itself has really been a really fun, cool ride. I mean, now at that time, I think our biggest deal was like a $100,000 build out. Today, we're working on a $300 million development down in Ohio. We have bought companies. We've bought massive GC out of Texas. We've bought architecture companies. We actually bought a funding company.
So hold on. So to this point, your biggest M&A deal was you were involved in a $30 million acquisition that helped you prop up and build up this other company that led you to your Wall Street exit, essentially, right?
Yeah, that was.
And then now like as of within this last year, you're doing a $300 million deal.
Yeah.
That's under the umbrella of your company as just like another deal. And yeah, that's a big deal for you, but like it's like I won't say riding a bike because that's cliche, but it's that's part of what you do and what you talk about across your dinner table to your lovely wife. You're like, yeah, we were just at Texas for the blah blah blah, and yeah, that's a $300 million deal.
Right.
That's got to feel good, man.
It's cool. No, it is cool, but you kind of there's like this weird addiction that sorts, at least for me, that kind of happens where I don't even see any of that anymore. Now I just see like, all right, what are we doing wrong? What are we missing? What else could we be doing? It's like this constant almost obsession with what's going on.
Yeah.
And after my dad passed away, it's really been like a buy-in of saying, all right, now it no longer is it, hey, we're gonna build this business and then sell it in 5 years, which was kind of like the initial idea. Now it's like, how do I build something that my kids can come work at and their kids can come work at?
And that they want to work at.
Yeah, that they believe that they're a part
right?
of.
Maybe,
they believe they're a part. And I've had the benefit now of we send our kids to private school. You meet a lot of great families. Some of the families I've met have these really cool family generation type businesses, and it's like the coolest thing looking and seeing all that. And then I say, that'd be great. I hope one day my kids can look back and do that. And then my guy's kid, Brad's kids, one day, I hope they can come in and be a part of something like this. It's like you could really build something generational, but everybody's got to kind of buy in. So our approach for New Path was, all right, we're going to actually build relationships for one. We're going to focus.
And that sounds like two things. Let me stop you because you unpacked a lot of really great things here. I want to develop one thing here. Everyone says, find your passion and you'll never work a day in your life. And that to me is such a bullshit t-shirt or one of those pillows that people have like in their laundry, like credenza.
Like when people write eat above their kitchen. It's like,
live, laugh, love, business. Like passion is a project.
Yep.
You said the word obsessed. And if you own a business and you aren't obsessed with it, I feel that you're going to have a very low chance of any kind of success by your own definition and maybe anybody else's.
Totally.
And maybe you portray some success and whatever, but you have to look in the mirror and be like, dude, like what's really happening here?
Yeah.
And once you've had some success, and I share this same obsessive, and it's probably clinical, maybe for both of us. I'm not diagnosing it.
Yeah, right.
I just know that like if I'm gonna do something, I mean, look at this stupid setup here.
I know this thing's great.
If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it 5-star, full out. I don't care what my budget is. I don't care what I don't care what the opportunity cost is of doing it or not doing it. If I'm gonna do it, I'm going to do it in a way that people are going to look at me, be confused, and say,
what is that guy doing?
I don't know what this is. I don't know. Actually, don't know what's happening right now, but I know I like it. I know seems like it's someone put a lot of time and effort behind this because they did, and now it's available to me in a way that it normally wouldn't be.
Right.
And again, that was the feeling, and I think that's why you and I connected so quickly. Because I was just like, I'm gonna kill myself one way or the other, and I'm gonna deliver. I'm gonna do what I say I'm gonna do.
Yep.
And I'm going to do it better than anybody else. Yep. And that rings true to me. So I love that story. And I love that your family was involved in all aspects of it, that you applied everything that you learned from stuff that was totally unrelated, but became related. And now 10 years in, a living legacy that can turn into so much more.
Oh yeah.
And I don't remember this part of it fully, but how did you guys come up with, like, I know all the stupid stories behind how Captain Demos got named.
I'm going to have to say this because she will bring this up for sure, but my wife technically names this company.
Hold on. There you go.
Alexa comes up.
Alexa.
We were sitting at the gym.
Hold on. Alexa, name this company.
Yeah.
New Path.
Yeah, she, in a slightly more female voice, obviously, but name this company, New Path. So yeah, we were at the gym.
She's a 12-pack a day smoker, bro.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, New Path.
We came up with this name. I mean, she kind of walked over to me. She's like, "What about New Path?" And the idea was a new path away from what I was doing before. Also a new path of what construction really should be when you're working with a construction company. A new path for owners when they want to come build with us. It's like we can literally help you pave your path. I mean, there's all these little fun things that we've developed.
I love it. It's like, hey, you could keep doing it. My favorite things about, and I hate using this word because the guys that I worked for years were known as like the biggest disruptors, and like disruption became like the
core word,
the barf word forever, and it was like, we're disrupting. We took a blank piece of paper and then reimagined was something, and then I'm just like, come on, can we stop disrupting and reimagining things?
Yeah.
But like the amount of inefficiency in so many industries, right?
Yep.
And you see it with transportation. We did it with transportation and Echo Global Logistics.
Yep.
You know, like this big paper-based terrible thing. You start straightening lines out on a map and you start getting rid of some of this paper. It becomes an unbelievable amount of efficiency because there's been so much, right? You're kind of like the tallest midget. You make a bunch of changes and then it just keeps getting better and better. And then LegalZoom disrupted all the administrative stuff within legal. So you're like cutting out all the paperwork BS and stacking it and all that, and then letting people be at the top of their license and actually lawyering and learning how to delivering a great product up here instead of filling out paperwork that anyone could do.
Yeah.
And et cetera, et cetera. And then you look at like commercial real estate or real estate in general, residentially. Then Zillow comes in. Then all this efficiency starts happening. And then you look at stuff like commercial real estate where it's just fraught with inefficiency and listings and people and contracts and nonsense, and like the process for getting architectural work done and submitting plans and cities and revisions and entitlements and fucking zoning and
some
you know
of the
and
things...
dealing and then you get to like you do all this stuff and then you get to like the city and it's like, okay, we're all experts now. And we're going in to present this $90 million project to a bunch of people that were elected to a position that nobody else wanted to do, who hate progress and don't want to piss off their friends and neighbors. And you're just like, this is like...
And the first question is always, I thought there'd be a Starbucks on that corner.
Isn't there going to be a...
Well, Nancy, I got news for you.
Everybody wants a Raising Cane's and a Starbucks.
Right. And a Nordstrom.
Right.
Yep. Well, and that's, I mean, one of the things... There's a lot of things that we learned building this, obviously. One of the big ones was I always thought I wanted to do residential, and I'm still in, and I'm not talking about what we're doing now, like the multifamily stuff. I'm talking about like someone's house, like doing someone's basement, doing. So we kind of had this idea, and I'm like, oh, maybe we could really improve that market. Horrible idea by me. We wasted a couple years doing stuff like that. Always a problem. No one's ever happy. You're never getting paid. It's like, it really was kind of an issue. So I said, okay, it's actually the commercial world.
And it's Groundhog Day, like every day, because you're dealing with like, you're dealing with non-sophisticated buyers.
Correct.
You're dealing with non-sophisticated business people.
Yep.
You're spending so much time educating them and every single deal over and over again. And it's like, it's not repeatable. It's not.
Well, and I've thought about it now. I mean,
that just seems so hard to make money.
Hard. Very hard. Like we used to, I mean, we got beat up pretty bad doing that. So that was one of those things where I'm like, okay, this is probably a bad idea. Let's not do that. Now today, what we talk about things such as like we have these venture meetings once a week, and me and Brad are sitting around, and a couple of the other guys and some investors that we work with are like, all right, what's something that would be interesting that we could do? I would go build 5 or 6 custom homes in a little area.
But that would be fun.
Do them myself and then just sell them as they come instead of getting input and all. I think that would be cool, but not doing it for somebody else so much, that's not so cool anymore.
Spec homes.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's a market for that. And so we started talking about, at that time, we're like, all right, let's pivot to commercial. We started doing that, meeting people like you guys, which was great, doing some deals. But yeah, it's been kind of an interesting dynamic.
We've been talking a lot about how things are different. If I'm a developer or if I'm a brand and you know, you're only as good as your last project, even though you have hundreds of great projects on your, belt. So let's just jump into that. So as someone who's done real estate development and working with different construction companies and so on and so forth, you see deal flow like nobody sees deal flow. You say no probably a lot more than you say yes to things, and that's what smart business people do. When you need the business, that's the worst time to be getting the business. So when you can be selective, and then, but like one thing I've always noticed with you, it's like you're very open-minded to figuring out. I want to figure out how to say yes, but without creating risk that is unnecessary. Like you'll stretch to say yes when it makes sense, and it's very limited and very controlled, and you have your eye on it.
Yeah.
Whereas people put themselves in any business in a lot of risk when they say yes to stuff that they don't do well or haven't done before. And you have to kind of hang the shingle out there sometimes to get some of those deals. And I think you've done that in a very calculated way.
Yeah.
I would not describe you as a cowboy in that
Thank
way.
you.
Even though you look like a cowboy.
Maybe a rancher.
You sound like a cowboy. No, I mean that as a compliment. Like I think you take a lot of smart, calculated risk. You're not out there saying, "Fuck it, we'll figure it out."
I try. Yeah, we try and step back a little bit, and you try and put on that private equity hat a little bit and say, "Okay, is this something that I can get behind? Is this even if there's an issue with the financing or there's some problem, whatever the problem is?" If I feel like I could buy into the idea and kind of what the finished product looks like, it makes it a lot easier for me to say, yeah, let's figure out how to build it. Whereas if I can't quite buy into the idea, and also there are all these challenges related to the project, then it becomes tough for us. And we'll usually say no. Or you'll get those guys that come in and they're like, well, this is my deal, take it or leave it. What do you say? And I'll always say, well, I have to read it. What is the deal? Because it could be a yes, it could be a no, but if it's take it or leave it, there's nothing really to talk about. Let me just read it.
Yeah,
and if it's good, it's good. If not, then
that's not a decision. That's a force feed. Yeah.
Correct. So that's been kind of a thing, is trying to understand the clients a little bit. I do believe in knowing the clients, even the big deals with the big corporate groups that we work with. There's still a person at the other end of that phone. And so I'm a big proponent of in-person meetings. 100%. I don't care where they live. I don't care what country they're in. I'm a big fan of going there. Love if I can get a dinner going with them or some drinks or something, just to really kind of know who it is I'm dealing with.
Absolutely.
Even though you're getting the best version of that person, usually at that moment, if that's the best version and you're not thrilled with it, I got news for you. It's probably not going to go well.
No, and it's not, or if you don't like that version, it's not going to improve.
No, it's not getting better.
So you have to decide, like, can I deal with this version of this person? And dude, like the old steak dinner, and I hate saying it that way, has been part of almost every business that I've ever been in, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of what it is, whether it was advertising and technology and all those things, like getting in front of those people. And like you, my biggest, I would always insist, my salespeople, my managers, like the executives, I'm like, have you met this guy? They're like, I talked to the guy like 3 times. No, I don't, dude. No.
Totally.
Have you gotten on a fucking plane, or has he gotten on a fucking plane? Have you guys been in a car together for an hour and like, driven to something, or, have you sat next to him at a baseball game on a day where his like kid had a shitty day, or his wife was yelling at him and he kind of turned to you and was a person for 5 minutes, not a customer?
Right.
Like if the answer is no, and because most of the time the answer is no.
Yeah.
Because then the dynamic totally has changed.
Totally.
And you're a personable guy. You're interesting in a lot of different ways. Like it's easy. Like when we first started sitting down, we didn't talk about construction.
No.
We talked about cigars. We talked about wine. I didn't know anything about cigars, so I didn't say anything. I just listened to you, and I learned about cigars and a little bit about this and that and whatever. And all of a sudden, there you go. And then it's like your guard's down. You're talking to this. You're talking to someone that is, feels like we're on the same level. Whether you are or you aren't, it doesn't matter. You've created an authentic conversation with somebody, and that's when the deal making. That's when you can start to smell the good things or the bad things.
Totally.
And then you make decisions.
Well, and honestly, one of our big metrics at our team with our sales team is I always ask the question, how many times have you met with them in person?
Right.
Then the second question is, how many times have they come to our office? The intent of us putting our office out west in St. Charles is that if somebody's going to spend $5, $10, $20, $30, $50 million with you, going to St. Charles will be the least intrusive thing that
I
you
love
have them
that.
do.
I
right?
love that.
So if you can't get them there, the odds, because I'm trying to figure out how real are these deals, right? Every deal has pursuit cost. There's opportunity cost that comes with it. And so I always ask the question, and then what we do is we have a tiering system that allows us to understand the likelihood of close of those deals based
Sure.
on 10 years of data now, right? So exactly the way you'd imagine. But yeah, that's when you talk about our sales and our sales metrics, those are the things I look at because that's where then
So you have your own probability model based on your 10 years of data.
Yes.
And you have thousands of client interactions that have either gone or not. The thing I want to draw out here, which is really important, is that, you know, and especially, and I hate saying the word COVID, fuck me for saying it, but like during COVID when everybody worked from home and all the kids were at home, and we'll leave it at that, the light got shined on everybody's work.
Yep.
Including the kids' teachers, the kids themselves.
Yep.
All the people that like should never be allowed to work from home.
Yep.
And then you found people that were like, this guy could work from home because he's conscientious and he's like, he's a nervous Nelly. He's just working his ass off and he's just, he's doing it because he wants to be successful and make money. And I think it brought out the best in 10% of people and the worst in 90% of people.
Totally.
But the whole model, remember how like cities like Chicago are drying up, like because they're like, no one's ever going to go back and do an office again. And in a world where everyone's being pushed to work remotely and do fucking Zoom calls and Google Meets and all this other stuff, you're out here as a young man, an operator of a fast-moving, fast-growing, high enterprise value company that has the whole world ahead of it with terms of other opportunities to get into, other companies to acquire. You're in the catbird seat looking forward, but you're out here advising your people younger than you, probably most of them. Some of them are industry guys that have been around a long time that are older than you. I've met many of them, sharp people. But no one's ever encouraging them to go out and spend time and money to be with those people because you know what your close rate is. You know what your metrics are. You're looking at this like a project, and you're looking at like the things that make the deal happen.
Yeah.
Everyone else is trying to figure out how to cut out costs, cut out conversations, cut travel, cut this, cut that. And I'm not saying you're out there, and because what you don't want to do is have a bunch of guys going out making BS meetings,
right?
And taking going out and getting hammered,
and that's what you're trying to figure out, right? You're trying to say, like, the reason I ask all those questions is like, how many in-person meetings, how many times have they been to the office? Because once the answer is 0, but then you tell me, hey, this guy wants us to sponsor their kids, blah 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 blah. Not that I don't care about what their kids are doing, but there's also levels to this, right? You can't just shoot with a shotgun. I tell everybody, like, we're sniper shooters. Like, I'm not trying to go bid 5 million projects in a year and then win 10 of them.
I hate that word.
I hate it. And honestly, our kind of approach has been, we look at the full, I would say, world of, if you were going to go build something, who do you have to talk to? How do you get from like sitting here where we're sitting to having like a building, right? And so you got to get financing. There's brokers involved. You got to find properties. The cities have to be okay with what you're going to build.
Yeah,
maybe there's tenants,
so much brain damage,
legal, money. So then I look at that and I say, okay, well, which of those areas do we want to be involved in? So we said, well, we don't want to be brokers. It doesn't really fit our model. But architects, maybe that's interesting. So we go out, we buy an architecture group.
And like incredibly necessary at the specific time.
Right. Right.
And
more importantly, necessary before construction is necessary, right? So you're trying to meet people early and do those things. And then we said, another big thing of ours is, okay, well, how do we, before we ever go sell anything, like if we're all sitting around, we're doing a strategy meeting, hey, we want to go work with ABC Car Wash Co. Okay, what can we do for them that actually is valuable before we ever ask them to do anything with us? There's a couple sites that we all know about that's in our database. Maybe we can show them one of these sites as kind of just like an olive leaf or an olive branch to say, hey, maybe this company can be a good partner to us. So then I have the guys go do that, and they'll do those things. And it's crazy how frequently that turns in then, whether it's 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 years, turns into something, some deal somewhere.
And 2 years in this world is fast.
Yeah, it is.
And for you to have the foresight to be like, you're speaking their language. You're stepping over the line in a good way of what you guys do and don't do. But like, hey, you're offering value before there's any even physical or social contract with you. And to me, that's also a style that I appreciate, that I think is so undervalued, and people just don't understand like how wise beyond the business years of not just you, but the business itself. No one's doing that. It's always RFP or bid.
Yep.
And it's procurement, and it's just impersonal, and it's a bunch of shitty spreadsheets that no one really reads. And then you're trying to explain what's different about your business and how you deliver and what you actually do for your customer and how you partner and all those real things. And then someone's just like looking and well, that number's smaller or bigger than the one next to it.
Yep.
And someone circles it with a red pen.
Yep.
And then it goes to a decision maker's desk who didn't hear the presentations, didn't get to meet you. And just so it happened for the last 75 years.
Yep.
And barf.
Yep. Well, and honestly, you said it earlier, that in this world, in the real estate, construction, development kind of world, patience is a big deal. And unfortunately, one of my major weak points is patience. And so I've realized, okay, well, what do I have to do to get over that? In the day-to-day operations of running a business, there's certain things I'm just not good at dealing with. And so we have people now that will help me deal with those types of
100%.
things. Right? But then this, like chasing this, I do enjoy the chase. And it's not about a deal or about any of that. It's about how could we do this? And I just had a cool conversation with the car wash developer yesterday. And he's like, man, I got to do all these sites. I'm trying to figure out how to make this better. And so then we started spitballing ideas. And he's like, man, you think you guys can pull that off? I'm like, let me look into that a little bit. But I'm always looking at the businesses saying, how could I help the business itself, which in turn, by the way, helps the construction.
Well, sorry to interrupt, but you're offering a layer. You're offering a layer of whether it's official advisement or consulting,
right?
Because of your background and experience, that these guys, one, they're not getting from their current provider. And again, I don't want this to sound like a commercial because it's not. But like, you can have a conversation with me about my businesses, unrelated to construction, and I could learn something probably, right, in that conversation, especially if you've had experience in that world and you've now 10 years plus or whatever. How many different type restaurants, all the different gamut, retail, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you got to get down to almost to the P&L value. And you're a curious person anyway, so you're going to ask and look at things differently than someone else in a construction company is like, can they pay their bills? Do they have enough locations? Is there some deal velocity there? And, whatever. And you're looking at it totally differently. And when you do get that meeting, when they do sit down with you, the CEO or whoever is, responsible for making those decisions, like there's a good match in terms of wits and the ability to speak at a P&L level and a business level, regardless of it not having to be only about construction.
It's funny, when we got started, part of our shtick, it's New Path Construction and Consulting is actually the full name of the business.
Sure.
The consulting part has kind of dropped off a little bit, but I think it's still in all the logos and everything. But the deal before was, let us build it for you. We'll come in, we'll be a great price, good schedules, all this kind of stuff. And we'll give you free consulting on your business. And so we would tell some of these people about our backgrounds, and they would say, okay, deal. You come look at my books, build me a model for, like you could be like, show us how to use Kanban boards. And I'm not a Six Sigma expert, obviously, by any means, but a lot of our deals were manufacturing deals that we did. We would set up these little things, these little advisory services, and help people out, give them little freebies. Somebody would have an issue with their revenue model, and we would just build one from scratch.
Let me tweak that for you.
Yeah, let us tweak it. Or a lot of times the way it would work in the beginning is I used to still play with Excel. I'm kind of a finance Excel nerd still to this day. Brad gets pissed because I meddle with all of our shit. But you look at our old...
Did you ever learn? You got to learn how to save as, because I've done that before where I'm like, wait a second. and then I hit save, and it's on a shared drive, and I just ruined everything.
Over. Yeah,
just ruined everything.
Yeah. So he gets upset when I do that. We look at these things, and we used to look at them, and I'd say, all right, well, show me your model. Let me see this. And so they'd flip their computer over, and I would share the screen of me playing with Excel. And honestly, I wasn't really doing a whole lot of anything meaningful, but I just wanted them to see it. And they're like, holy fuck. So then they're like, all right, we got to do a deal. Because, the other thing is, too, I think about this as an investor myself. And now we're lucky enough to invest in deals and things like that.
Yeah.
When I invest in a deal, I need to know that whoever I'm investing with is a steward of the capital that we're giving them, right? That's like the number one most important thing. And so for us, I say, people give us a lot of fucking capital. Shouldn't they feel comfortable that we know what to do with this? That if over the course of a year, they're paying us $20 million, shouldn't they be comfortable that it's not just us hitting buttons and then we blame it on a program if something goes wrong? Like, to me, that's a big deal. And that's something that's missing.
I grew up in startups, and I grew up in advertising, where someone who was 23 years old had a $40 million budget for something that was like not critical to the world. It was like Nabisco, or like something where someone was like selling fast food to make people fatter than they already are and whatever. And you're like, this person is controlling $40 million of budget. They make $28,000 a year.
Right.
Like something's off here.
Right.
And like they have so much control, and everyone's at their beck and call, and it's like it's such a strange power imbalance per like what's there.
Totally.
And nobody ever questioned that. Like how was Nabisco not be like, you have a 24-year-old person or whatever? Not that there aren't smart 24-year-olds.
Right. Of course.
I'm like, just it's like, but that's a lot of responsibility.
Yep.
That's a huge, huge gun.
And by the way, living it, seeing my family and, trying to build businesses and do all this stuff. And it's like, man, the trust that gets placed in it, it's like, hard work is one thing, but also our subcontractors that work with us. I think one of the things that they like is we try and vet these guys. You don't get it all right. I got deals every year where somebody's financing falls through, and it's like, okay, we got to figure that out. But who better to be a part of that process than us?
Yeah, that's what I mean. You guys have seen the entire life cycle. You always build in any pro forma that I've ever been involved in, you always build in plenty of contingencies, right?
Yep.
But the art and the science of that meet at how good are you? Like for you, I know, and we've had this discussion, when you come in at the end of the project and you're like, hey, Brad, or whoever's been working on it, you're like, hey, where did we think we were going to end up on this thing?
Oh, yeah.
And then where did we end up on this thing? And like how close, what was the delta? Like were we plus 5%, plus 10, plus 20, whatever it was. And then it's like 10 years in, you're like, we're pretty fucking good at this.
Yeah.
And it's like that post-mortem or close to the end, like, holy shit. And there's always, it doesn't matter how good you are and how much technology 100%. You use, you're going to get, I made a joke earlier, you're going to strike oil, or there's going to be like, we're over an Indian burial ground by accident and no one told us, or you're going to like hit some kind of whatever.
It's what's crazy is we've had deals where, and I'll tell people this when we're going to, sign up with them. My number one thing is something is for sure going to go wrong. There's no question about that.
Yeah, the only guarantee is that something's going to go wrong.
Yeah, something is going to go wrong. There's going to be a problem. The city's going to change something. There's going to be a funding issue. A sub could go bankrupt. There's all these things that could hypothetically happen, right? And will. And so I'm not selling you on the fact that this is going to be a problem-free job. What I'm selling you on the fact is that we are the best group that you're talking to today that can handle these things as they come through.
That's right. Something's going to go wrong, and the people that are dealing with that are the ones that you want to know that the people are prepared for that. And by the way, any sophisticated buyer of construction or construction consulting services, whatever it might be, that's the dinner conversation. It's like, hey, there's stuff that neither of us can control that's going to happen.
Yep.
It's how it gets dealt with, and what our preparation is, and how prepared we are, and our training, and blah blah. There's never a worse conversation than like the Saturday and you're like, someone's calling you worse than when you're at dinner and someone's telling you to whip out the old laptop to like fix a model.
Yep.
Is that, hey, it's Saturday, the job site's shut down, someone forgot to fill in the blank.
Yep.
And it's in an unfriendly to construction world like Arizona, where they're very litigious and they got a finger pointed at you already.
Oh yeah.
And you got to have your ducks in 6 different rows, and you're like, fuck.
Yep.
And now you got to like engage 20 people and get it going.
Yep.
You guys have systematized that entire process, and I think it's a beautiful thing to watch from close and from far.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I say perception is reality, and I know people throw that around a lot, but unfortunately, if a client believes that a project is delayed because of something we did, and whether or not they know what actually happened or don't know what actually happened, it doesn't really matter. When you start building something, you're kind of put in some ways at odds with whoever you're building it for, because they have their own goals and things that they're trying to hit. You're trying to deliver, what you promised you would deliver, and then things happen, and then, weather happens. Like today it's raining, and I'm sure I have emails of like, why aren't people working when it's raining?
I know you have emails right now because I could see your one ear twitching.
Yeah, every once in a while I see it pop out.
I could hear it vibrating on the chair. I know you're getting. So I know we're coming up close to time, and you've given us a lot of great insights. And again, dude, you in a very short time you become someone I greatly respect for not only your accomplishments, but you're a great dad. You're very authentic in how you talk about your family. I feel like I'm a pretty good judge of character and and business, and I've become a little better at my deal making skills and how I choose to work with certain people and not certain people, and learning how to say no and learning how to say whoa and slowing down and not getting caught up in the moment of the thing and taking a step back. And it's fun to watch you operate, and it's fun to hear deals that I'm involved with and not involved with, how you handle those and take those through. And I listen to what you're saying because you're a smart guy and you're a good person too. And I follow what you do with your family. I enjoy the anecdotal stuff. Your wife is an absolute doll, and we're going to dinner again here soon. I know, coming up. I worked it out with her. I just said, fuck it.
Perfect. Even better. That's easier.
Her and I text. We're friends now.
I told her we got to come here for dinner, actually.
We could, whatever. Let's do it.
Have you ever flipped this camera and just shown them this place? This place
you know what?
Awesome.
If they're watching this and they haven't seen the obnoxious amount of self-promotion that I've done on Facebook and the amount of content that we have that is the other flipped camera of this, they're probably not interested, is my guess. But
yeah. But we're going to have an event here.
Let's do it, man. Let's have some fun. And I want your kids to come. There's your son. Tell me your son's name again. Hudson is mini you. All he needs is a little bit of like gray frost right here.
That's right.
That would be the funniest. By the way, that'd be a funny Halloween costume.
Is he? Oh, I should do that.
You should do mini
Dress
me.
him as me.
A little mini me. The therapy bill will be expensive.
100%.
But that would be really funny. And
he'll come if your chicken tenders are like an 8 out of 10 or better.
Is he not? Does he do steak?
Oh yeah, he'll do steak.
So then we're money, dude.
But chicken tenders are like his,
That's the current. That's the token to get to the turnstile.
Oh yeah.
He's like, hey, how you doing? How you chicken tenders?
Yeah, right. Literally
6, 7, 10 out of 10, whatever. All right, good. So we got the kids. We're gonna get them in here. I appreciate you coming. I have a gift for you. Where is it? Can you reach that right over there?
Yeah, let me grab it.
All right. So
this is awesome,
folks. This is on Big Money Mondays with Captain Demo at the Captain's Room. I wanted to give you a gift. We've talked about this stuff. It took me forever to get this done because I was distracted with everything else and working. And
plus to feature the tequila, you have to have a Hispanic guy on.
Well, you can't. So I got to be careful.
The reposado.
Got to be careful.
Got to call it reposado.
It is not a tequila because it was not bottled in Jalisco, Mexico. It was born in Jalisco, raised in the United States of America.
Got it.
Just like it's supposed to be. That's why we call it 100%. And I opened it and gave you a little bit, and you're a good friend, but you're also an honest friend.
I am.
And I was very nervous because
telling you,
I've had the best tequilas that I know of.
Yep.
That I can pronounce. with you and with Brad and whatever. And we've had some of them here prior to any of this and whatever. And I was like, man, I worked so hard on putting this together, and you'll blow a little smoke up my ass, but then after one drink, you're going to tell me how it is.
Well, dude, we've had a couple commercial breaks while we're doing this thing, and I'm like, dude, this tequila is fucking good. And I don't mean that.
By the way, I'm totally putting those in, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good.
I'm going to cut them in.
I mean, by the way, like, my whole thing is, I'm like, I didn't not expect it to be good, but it's like, you know, you're doing branding and you're doing all of these things. I know take time, and it's hard because any massive company can pull this product, right? And I would imagine they could, but trying yours, man, this is good stuff.
It's fun. It's been really fun getting into this point, and it's quality. So that's what we serve here. I sell this now. We have a package license here, so anyone that wants to try it can come here and get it. We'll be selling it throughout Illinois.
You can sell online too, right?
Well, yeah, we'll be selling this, our bourbon, our vodka, and our botanical gin online here soon for delivery only in Illinois, because that's how it all works. And then we're working on a distribution network and some other things. But we've got a lot going on with the place here, the hot sauce itself, and you know, our other deals and stuff and whatever. Just one thing at a time. I think what we figured out is, like, let's move deliberately. Better to move slow and controlled and get it right. And what's the rush? It's called reposado, which means rested.
There you go.
And I'm trying to take. That's why we launched with a reposado, not a blanco, not an añejo. Like, it's rested, it's relaxed, and let's do it that way. So anyway, I really enjoy having you here. I always enjoy seeing you. I know you've been so super busy, dude, and you got a big family and all those things, and you made time to come out here. It means a lot to me. And this was a lot of fun. We should do this more often. I still don't know where Brad is. We'll find him somewhere. Maybe he's like. We can superimpose him later.
Yeah, pop him in. Put him over your shoulder.
Send me a great the whole time.
Yeah,
just have him
have Brad there.
Have him right
on
here.
his bicycle.
I could have him riding a little bike in the corner. You know me. I'm technical. I could do it.
That's right.
All right. Thank you again. Appreciate you. You got a long ride home. So take that home with you. I'm going to give you a fresh one because I don't want you to have an open bottle in your car. Because I don't know what you drove today. You drove like the Batmobile. It might not even have a trunk. Like, you're gonna
I got a truck today.
We got the truck. Okay, so I'll wrap it in bubble wrap and we'll like attach it to your external gas tank on the side over there. All right, thank you guys. This was live from the captain's room with my good friend and comrade Adam Garcia, New Path Construction. Something that's very different, something that's very beautiful in the construction space, and something that you're not going to see it in the way that you do once you meet with these guys and talk about your project. So if you're in construction or if you're in development, I encourage you to look at their website. It'll give you a small picture. Talk with Adam or talk to someone that they've worked with or talk to me. I'm happy to share my experience. It is very different in how they approach the entire thing from beginning to end. And I think that's what's been missing, and I think that's a gap that you guys have filled.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me,
All right.
John.
Thank you, guys.